Hello everybody, welcome to this new episode. On today's video I would like to talk a little bit about Heroku. Heroku is a hosting provider. They provide a lot of nice services. You can deploy all sorts of applications there, like Python, Java, Node.js. It is free. By the way, it's not a sponsored ad. I just kind of like Heroku because I haven't paid a penny so far. I've been just experimenting with it, and I've been able to deploy different applications like Node.js. So far I have experimented with Node.js and Java. So today I would like to walk you through the process of installing a WAR file onto Heroku with an SQL, right? Because the installation process is quite straightforward. You just have to hit a little line of code and that will do it. So once you register to Heroku, you will have to configure the CLI or download the CLI, the command line interface. And there is also a, let me just, how to deploy WAR file on Heroku. This will probably, yeah, you need to install the deploy plugin. You just have to type this command line, Heroku plugins :install Heroku -CLI -deploy. So once you have that installed, then we can go on and deploy a WAR file. So let me just walk you through this small process of creating a very simple basic application which uses a database, and how to set it up so that you can work with Sqlite databases on Heroku and Java projects. So first of all, I will create a web project and I will call it to Cooltech, because I just created an app at Heroku. It's called Cooltech. Well, an app is just the name, the repository for an app. I haven't developed anything so far, just for experiment, to experiment a little bit. So I create this dynamic project. If you have watched another video, I explained before how to set up this in the getting started with Java, GSP and servlets. I explained what you need to be able to create a dynamic web project. So I suggest you take a look there. Let me just so somewhere over here, how to get started working with servlets, GSP pages and tomcat in Java. So you can see there the whole thing. Well, the next thing that I want to have here is a package. I want to have a package, and the next thing I want to have in my project is I want to have a class, and this class will be responsible for dealing DB management. It will be responsible for dealing with database stuff. So once I have my class here, I also would like to have a page, right? A JSP page. Let's create a JSP file and let's call this index. That's correct, index. That'll be the index, and I will have another page which will be the one that will initialize the database, right? Because once I install this init DBs, once I deploy the application, the database will be empty or inexistent. So I need to create a method to populate it. So far so good. Now I need to make sure that my libraries for my database is in place. So what I do, I go into the build path, configure build path. On the libraries tab, I clicked on external libraries and I grabbed my Sqlite JDBC library. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start configuring the library, but I also would like to I want to do many things, but let's go step by step. So here I will import my origin Sqlite. Well, actually I work on the Java Sqlite. Okay, so we have this in place. I want to start working on that database. So the easiest thing to do is to use the how it's called, Sqlite Browser. It's very simple, straightforward. You can just create your tables here, and you need to, just very simple. You create a database, you give it a name. I will call, because I will delete this database right ahead, I will just give it a name. Let's call it cooltech.db. okay, and now I can start defining my tables. I will create a table called users, right? And I add just three fields. The first field will be ID. Second, I will call let's call it name or username, right? This is username, and this, let's say that it has the email address, just an email. Let's define these fields. This is going to be all text, and I will add at the ID and auto increment, and there you go. Click on enter. So far I have one table. I will create another table. Let's call my next table post. Why not post? And this post will have something like a post ID. It will have something like a title, right? And something like a description, or let's call it body, my post body. And let's add something else. Oops, body, and let's say tags, right? So now I just have to set this all to text, make sure that the ID is auto increment, and hit on enter. So I have already two tables. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to create here in my database management. I want to create something that will initialize the database. But before that, I need to create a connection. So the connection I will create like this. The connection needs to be private, and it will return a connection object, and I will call this con. Just return null to start. And the first thing that I need to grab here is the driver manager, and then get the connection string. And here's the nice thing, I will have to say, okay, Sqlite, yeah, right, no, actually OJDB, if I'm not mistaken, Sqlite, and then the name of my table, I can call it cooltech.db. This will return a connection, so I need to say a connection con is going to be this, right? I need to also make sure that I add the throw declarations and all that stuff. OGDB, I'm still doubting whether it is OGDB or not. I can look into my code and see if I'm making any mistake here. GDBC is actually the connection, GDBC. So I'm always confused with these things. GDBC. So that's the connection. That's the connection string. It will then return the connection. So once we have this method, we can then create another one that will be the one that instantiates initializes the database. So it will be a public void. It's called initDBs. DB is not void but void. So what we're going to do here is very simple. We're going to create the database, right? So the first thing we need to do is create a string, and for the table 1. So we move on to the SQL browser, and as you see here, we can just right click, copy the create statement, paste it in here. Beautiful. Next, string table 2, the same. I grab, copy the create statement, paste it inside here. Very good. Next, I would like to populate these tables, right, with some standard initial information. So I can just go here and say insert. Let's make that nice. Okay, insert into users. Users ID. The next value is title, if I'm not mistaken. Let's verify this. User has username, actually username and email. Username and email, or mail. Yeah, email. We insert here values. The values will be something like for the ID I will set a question mark because it's auto incremental, so I hope it's going to go like this. And here we have the username. I'll call something like Andy, and the email is called Andy whatever.com. So that will be my first user, only one user. Yeah, I duplicated the record, no problem. And that will for the users, and I will do the same for the next table we have here, which is the posts. I will create also some insert for the for this one. So I say insert into post ID title title body tags. Okay, title body tags, and what we do here is insert something like title, first title, first body, and something tag 1 or tag 2, whatever. So that'll be as for the titles, right? So we simply have string table uno, and then string, let's call it insert one. I will then copy this this query here and paste it right here. Again, I take another query, insert 2. This is the query, and I just insert it also here. Very good. So now we have the tables and the content. The next thing that I need to do is to run those queries, right? So the way I do this is simply by calling upon this connection, and then I need to create a statement. Create statement. Create statement. Not create statement. And execute a string like here. So basically I will say execute table1. Let's see why it is complaining. We need these declarations. Okay, so we execute the query 1, we execute the table 2, we execute insert 1, and we execute the insert 2. And after all those queries have been executed, we can then go on and close our connection. So this is for the initialization of the database, all this data. Now I would like to make a call from that page that we just created, the initdb, this page right here. I would like to, well, this is not my page actually. I am working right now on this project out here, so I will close this, and the project I'm working is this one. So I come down here into my initdb. So I will need to make an import here, and how it works, the import, let's say page import, I think it will do SQL or Java SQL. So that will be one import, the SQL import, and there's also this org SQLite that I might have to import. So this call this initialize database, and basically here the only thing that we're going to do, I need also to do some class for name, and the name will be org, I think I have to org SQLite JDBC, something like that. Class for name, yes. Why I'm seeing this red? Okay, now it's gone. So the next thing I want to do is simply I will need to initialize or instantiate my class, the one that manages databases. So I say DB management, and then okay, then I say DM is new DB management, and basically I can simply take some h1 here, and okay, wait a minute, this is the initialize DB, so actually I don't need to present anything here, so I just simply say DM init DBs, right? This will then initialize the DBs. So once the databases are initialized, so I can go on here and extract some information from those databases. So I can take these imports as an example right here. I use them here as well. And I could instantiate my things here. I could say, okay, I have to go back to my database because we did the initialization. Now I need something that will return at least some data from the database. Let's grab some title from the post, for instance. So I will get a public string get title, I will call it. It will just return the title, and what I say is I use my connection, and basically I use something similar as what we did here, right? I can do something like this, but this case maybe we need to do it different, because in this case we're going to return some value from the database. So let's do the connection first. This con is going to be create statement. So we need to create a statement and execute string statement, execute updates, okay, we have an execute query. This one returns a result set. So the query will be something like select everything from the table. Which table? From the table posts, from post, and then limit 0, 1. I only want to have one statement returned, and this query will return the result set I saw before. So I want this to be a result set and once we have this result set, I need to add the why is this complaining? Okay, we add the declarations. Once I have this result set, I want this result set to be returned. So I will create a string and the title, and I want to say while rs next, and here inside I want to say, okay, the title, since I know it's only one, will contain rs get string, the string of the column label. In this case is called title, right? Yeah, title. So we will get the title and create local variable the title, because I misspelled this, right? No problem. And that's it. It will return the title. So then from here, from the index, I can then just simply call the title to be printed somewhere here. And the way I do this is simply by, okay, by the way, I also need to use this statement somewhere. And now I can then simply instantiate my database here by saying management DB. What's the name? No, actually it was DB management, I guess. Yeah, DB management. DM is new DB management. And once we have these, I can easily invoke my database from here using these things and saying DM get title. But of course, before I need to out println and print this thing here. So that will be enough for printing the title, initializing the database, and getting all started with this. The next thing that I will need to do, let me just close these other projects to avoid confusion. The next thing I will need to do is to put into the Eclipse my library. So I will find where my library is. My library is somewhere in Java projects. Let's take my libraries. So I will bring my library. Where's my library? Here. Make sure that I have the same one, and I will put it here in the lib. I will copy into lib under the web INF. So that's the only library, external library, that I'm using so far. So now I can just test this application and see where it's going to fail. Usually things fail the first time, so that is okay because we don't have a database. It needs to be, it's telling me, hey, no such table post, and that's true because we need to go into the page that will initialize the database, and that page is called initdbs. So we're going to initdbs.jsp, hit on enter. Blank page is good sign, means that it went well. Then we go back to the home page, and interestingly enough, I don't see that now it's not complaining, but it's not showing the results that I want to be displayed. So need to troubleshoot this. What could have possibly, oh wait a minute. Yeah, the fact is that we are not trying to display the information on the page, but on the title, and I can see now the title here, first title. So that is okay. That is the only thing that we want to do here, right? It's just the principle. You can of course create different tables and display the information in different possible ways once you have the model on how to do it. So far so good. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to generate a Word file targeting Java runtime 8. So I will put this somewhere where I can grab it easily. Let's drop it in the downloads page. Cooltech is the name. Let me just remember this because we are going to use it for the deployment. So I generated the Word file. Now with Heroku deploy up, and then Cooltech, I think is the Cooltech is the name of my application. With this line of code, I should be able to deploy this application. So I have to go first just to check how this app looks like, because I deployed before something on Cooltech. Kind of slow. Let's see. full text. Okay, yes. So here we don't see anything right now. I tried to deploy something before, and so now I'm going to deploy the new application. It should work. Let's see. I couldn't find the command because actually I didn't write the command properly. I have to write where is it? Heroku war, something like that. Did I see before? Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, Heroku war, then deploy. So this is the command. Let's try it again. Heroku war, deploy, path. Yep, that's the one. Now it is deploying the application, and just a second. Deploying, it says success, building, compressing, installing the JDK 1.8. so you need to always target that JDK, and there we go, it is deployed. So if I go on, it will give me an error the first time. That's correct. But if I go into initdbs.jsp, I should hit the blank page, and going back to then we see the first title right here, which is information stored in the database. So that's pretty much it. I hope it was helpful, and yep, thanks for watching. Bye.